We got our first look at Arsenal, and obviously they've changed, they've reinforced in the summer. They are looking to go again and be title challengers this year. What did you make of what you saw from them? We got goals from Nketiah and Bukayo Saka in the 2-1 win over Nottingham Forest. After the game, Arteta said, we need to be more ruthless. And obviously that's because it was a bit of a nervy finish for them.
Yes, I mean, for the first game, I think, I didn't have too many worries about Arsenal, but I was interested to see how that development takes place, right? Because the expectations are much higher now. I think they overachieved, as we've mentioned last season. They were very close in terms of winning the ultimate prize. And so what's the next step? How do you get this team better? And I think for the most part, we saw it. Obviously, Yuri Timber, that's a bad injury, because now all of a sudden you have to change. I don't want to say everything, but, you had a plan and you had a player that's played great in the preseason. And even in that game, he was very good. Now you have to change that around a little bit. But I saw a team that, once again, is going to be close to Manchester City. I mean, they're going to be the ones kind of pushing for that. Bukayo Saka, what can you say about him? And, and Gabi Martinelli, I'm telling you. And it's funny that Mikel Arteta talked so glowingly about him, because I thought he was very good. See, here's how I feel about Gabi Martinelli. There's so much coming from him. I mean, he's got a ceiling, to me, like anybody in the world. He really does. When I watch him, for me, he's even more talented than Bukayo Saka. I think Saka maybe just, I think Martinelli sometimes trying to do a little bit too much, and he needs to find that fine line between just knowing when the moment is and being what Arteta wants, right? But boy, oh boy, what a player he is. In terms of talent and potential, this is the player that's still ready to explode. There's another player in the Premier League, we'll get to him a little bit later. For me, obviously, I don't know how everybody else.
Teasing what's coming up.
Bukayo Saka, that kind of goal, continuing what he did last year. Martinelli, again, absolutely outstanding. That first goal, I think he gets a little bit lucky. I don't know if he means to actually pass that ball to Nketiah, but it doesn't really matter, because the move itself, we all knew what he wanted to do, to squeeze in between the two defenders. So look, Declan Rice is doing exactly what I think he would. People will say he costs a lot of money. It doesn't really matter. He's the right man at the right team for the right job, and he's going to continue to do that consistently as well. So look, I wasn't disappointed with Arsenal. Should they have won by more? Absolutely. But it's the first game of the season. I think we should prefix almost everything we say today about every game.
But so far, so good, keeping up with Manchester City after one game. They've also, just before we do move on from Arsenal, David Raya has joined on loan from Brentford. Is this going to be issues with Ramsdale for the number one spot here?
Well, I think if you're Ramsdale, it might be an issue. I mean, I think Raya is brought in to be a number one. I really do. It's an uncomfortable position, because I don't know what Arteta's thinking. When you bring a goalkeeper like that, and the reason Raya and Ramsdale playing with their feet, right? Raya is better at it. I'm not saying the leaps and bounds. He's better, but you know how Arsenal and Mikel Arteta want to play. I mean, just like Pep, just like Ten Hag is trying with Onana, he understands that the lines has to be higher, and he also understands that you have to have a goalkeeper that's not afraid to come out and is extremely comfortable with their feet. So the issue here is that Ramsdale has to play himself out. The question is going to be, when he makes the first or second mistake, is that going to be automatic? That's going to be our answer, right? Because if he's good, normally when your goalkeeper makes a mistake and you truly believe and trust that goalkeeper, you let him play out of that. And we will see what happens when there's a howler that really costs Arsenal, what the reaction from Mikel Arteta is going to be. Not just in the first game, the first two games.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.